live here at Chicago Comicon. It's Sunday, it's the last day, we're winding down, and I have a microphone in my hand again, which means that I have hunted down somebody else here at the Comicon whom I wish to annoy greatly.
I'm so flattered, thank you.
The gentleman that's sitting next to me, his name is Francesco.
I'm not a gentleman, don't believe a word of that.
And first off, now, as I understand that, this is just your first name.
You're right, you understand correctly. It is my first name and my only name that I use when I sign my work.
Okay, first off, before we get started in anything, I'd like to find out...
Trying to start something.
I'm trying to start something, yes, and before this is over with, we probably will. How did you get your start in comics? What got you interested in it?
Well, getting me interested in comics is basically a love for the medium. I love comic books. I really didn't grow up reading comic books, but the one thing that happened was I was at Jewel's, doing some grocery shopping. We got to eat once in a while. Starving artist is a thing I try not to be. And there were some racks, and I was just like, hey, this is kind of cool. Flipped through it, and I was hooked ever since. And because of the love of comics and my passion for drawing, that's what led me to put a portfolio together, talk to people, get some input, and then boom, here I be.
And you just said, I can do that.
Yeah, basically. How did you know you could quote me like that? I'm impressed.
I knew that, because I could do that. So you've been in this for, what, 2-3 years now?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much about 2-3 years on and off. Some projects are more near and dear to my heart, but loving every minute of it.
Great. The first character I remember your artwork in was the Green Lantern, which you have sitting right in front of you here. Right here. This is it. So, now Adam is the character that you created for the Green Lantern story.
I did, but I have to give credit to the writer also. He came up with the concept as well as I came up with the visuals to the character, and he did an amazing part, but I had so much fun creating the visuals to Adam. I've always wanted to do something for a major publisher, and what was really exciting was not only did I get to do a mainstream project, but I had the chance to do my own little thing, create something of my own. So it was like the icing on the cake.
Sure, and my question now is, because this was a great story, there's more to come here at Chicago Comicon. Have they talked to you, approached you about doing sequels to this using the same character, or?
At this time, no, simply because the way the current storyline is running, there is no longer a core that is in operation. So until the actual storyline shifts a bit, Adam will not be in the foreground. Don't count him out yet, because if I have anything to say about it, he's coming back again and again and again.
Great. Now, you were doing artwork. Were you doing art before you got hooked on the comic books, or?
Well, I always enjoyed drawing. I really had a desire to sit there and sketch and doodle and do this and do that, but basically it was just like art classes in high school, and that was the extent of it. I never really pursued it as a career.
Did you do comic book art styles back then?
I think once I discovered comics even more so, I knew that they were around, they existed, but I was never really following comic books. So until I actually became exposed to the experience, that's when my work actually started to take more of a comic book look to it.
Okay. Who, now that you've been into them, who are your influences from the comic field?
Well, it's really hard to pinpoint just 5 or 10 or 20. There are just so many amazing people in comics, and I think I'm very lucky. All the fans are really lucky because there's so many amazingly talented individuals who chose comic books to express themselves. It's really hard to go down a list of names because I'm probably going to leave out hundreds that I really adore, because either I've met them or I've met them through their work, that sort of thing. But the list is endless.
Oh, okay. So there's no names that we want to mention, but...
Oh, you want me to name names?
Whoa! Let's get a name talker now. Now, some of your current projects, you're doing a What If, which features all of the X-Men.
not only all of the X-Men, it features all of the mutants. And not only did I get a chance to fit every nook and cranny of this story with mutants, I got the Avengers, the Fantastic Four. Spider-Man's in there. Look for him. He's in there. Believe it. Believe it.
Just kind of hidden in the cover somewhere, or I mean in the storyline?
He's not prominent. In other words, he's not going to be right in the middle of the panel where you can see him, but he's in there.
Now is he the real Spider-Man or the clone?
Oh, he's the real. Hey, no clone, babe. No, he's the real Spider-Man.
Okay, I just had to bring that up. So this was probably one of your most project with the most characters you've ever worked with in one project, or?
What's interesting about this particular project, although I have been in comics for a bit, one of the exciting things is the fact that it's the first project that I've worked on pre-existing characters. Because up until this point, starting with Adam, I went on to Triumphant Scavengers, and from Scavengers, Marvel asked me to come up with a new series called Fusion Force, and that was all basically concepts, but they needed to be brought to life visually. And so this is the first actual comic book that I'm drawing with pre-existing characters, and boy, oh boy, am I having the time of my life on it.
And that was the group in the back of the Clive Barker storyline.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So you can look for those, although the series has been canceled. Scavengers also, the company is no longer around, or?
So if the publishers are watching, turn the channel, because no, I have nothing to do with it. No.
Yes, it wasn't our fault. Actually, the stories were real good. They had a lot of good product out. The comic industries carried the books. Things just didn't happen, I guess.
I think it was a lot to do with the timing. There was just so much to choose from. Like, there's a smorgasbord. It's so much good food. It's like, which do you pick?
Yeah, the comic industry has really opened up lately.
And it's a good thing. I think it's not necessarily a bad thing.
It is. Are there any other projects that you have done or that you are doing that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I like to talk about this interview I'm doing for like this guy. I don't know, big fan that I am of. Really cool guy. He just happens to be sitting next to me. That's one of the special things I'm doing right now. What else? I'm doing pinups. I've done trading cards. I've done posters, covers, and it's really exciting because I get a chance to play with lots of different characters. Because comics is just full of really cool elements, and I'd like to be able to get. I'd like to get a chance to do a little bit of everything, and I'm doing that now, but the best is yet to come.
And you live right here in the Chicago area, too. That's why you do all the conventions and such?
Oh, yeah. Well, I do conventions all across the country, but I love ChicagoCon because it's a hop, skip, and a jump, and it's one of the better shows in the country, really.
Well, maybe you could give out your phone number, your address, and we'll all come over and party at your place some night.
Okay, what was your address again?
All right, well, now for the end cap closing sex scene.
Wait, no, we're supposed to get an extra in here.
Oh, that's right. I think we can block this scene out. We're going to have to edit the hell out of this. Thanks.
Yes.
Francesco, thanks for your time. It's been a great time, and it's been a great convention here, and we'll got more coming up for you.